It's an interesting story to read aloud, and I did a little bit of think aloud questions. And as we read aloud and think aloud, we notice that there's a little questions that you can use the cause and effect reading skill. Something that looked like this. There's the cause, the why it happened, and the effect part, what happened. So if something actually happened, there's a reason. So there are parts where you can talk about the students' why, the question why, and you can encourage students to answer because. So this basically is a simple reading strategy and skill, but it helps you to think over and comprehend the story better. So the baby gorilla wasn't able to do something. So you can actually give them a hint if they can't actually fill in the blanks. So you can ask, where do they live? Were they able to live when the poachers came? So they kind of the baby gorilla wasn't able to live in Africa or couldn't live in the tropical forest because the poachers stole the babies. So basically I have made the answer sheets as well. So they wasn't able to live with its family again in Africa because the poachers stole the little gorillas. Another effect, the baby gorillas' names became Burma and Ivan. Remember the owner gave a contest, name the gorillas, and they became Burma and Ivan because the shopping mall owner had the name the babies contest. That was another reason, right? So pick any part that you think is reasonable to ask the questions, the what and the why. Another one is, Ivan had to live in the cage in a shopping mall. They were living in the human house, with the human people, but not anymore. Why? He went back to the shopping mall. Because Ivan became too big to live in a human house. They say he was too strong and it was too wild that he would probably break everything around the house. The last one is, Ivan was finally sent to a better new home at Zoo Atlanta. What was the cause? Did he go there? All of a sudden, no. The people was angry, right? And what did they do? People started to sign petitions and held protests. So that was the actual fact and the cause of how he went to Zoo Atlanta. So it's a simple cause and effect. Not only fill in the blanks, but it's a really good verbalizing exercise to ask and answer the what and the why. Okay, good. The first one.
이 cause and effect라는 리딩 스트래터지를 이제 포커스한 활동인데 이제 이 활동을 하기 위해서 사실 이제 얼마 전에 나온 재미있는 책 중에서 질문하는 독서법 이런 책이 있더라고요. 퀘스처닝만으로도 그 이제 독서를 어떻게 잘할 수 있는지를 만 설명한 책인데 지금 제목은 정확한지 모르겠어요. 근데 어쨌든 주리 선생님이 지금 이걸 읽으시는 중간중간에도 계속해서 이제 think aloud라고 그러죠. 선생님이 이제 질문하면서 계속 이야기를 읽어 나왔어요. 예를 들면 왜 그렇게 됐지? 이 아이벤이 왜 더 이상 살 수 없게 됐지? 무슨 일이 있었지? 왜냐면 그 poachers were captured the two babies. 그래가지고 애기들 둘을 잡아갔으니까 왜 잡아간 두 고릴라 이름이 버마 앤 아이벤이 됐지? 이렇게 물어보는 그런 그 중간중간 왜 이렇게 됐을까라고 think out loud를 하면서 선생님이 읽기를 진행을 해주셨는데 약간 그것도 어떻게 보면 처음부터 조금 플랜이 되는 것이 읽고 난 독후 활동으로 cause and effect를 할 거다라고 한다면 중간중간 think out loud를 하면서 그렇게 진행을 해주시면 좋고 그렇게 한 다음에 이렇게 준비되어 있는 워크시트를 같이 보면서 생각을 하는 거예요. 친구들한테 왜 그렇게 됐을까? Why? 라고 물어보면 친구들이 because 라고 대답할 수 있는 연습을 하는 게 좋고 이게 이제 대표적으로 네 가지의 장면들을 네 가지의 사건들을 줄리쌤 뽑아 오셨는데 예를 들면 첫 번째로 Why the baby gorillas wasn't able to live with their families anymore in Africa. 이렇게 됐을 때 왜냐하면 because the poachers stole the gorillas. 그래서 그렇게 여기 이제 문장 단위로 친구들이 작성할 수 있고 그다음 중간중간 블랭크가 있게 지금 되어 있어요. 아마 이 레벨은 그래도 조금은 문장 센텐스 레벨로 이제 좀 쓸 수 있는 친구들이 하면 좋을 것 같고 아까 선생님이 이제 말씀하셨던 것처럼 만약에 요거를 글로 쓰는 것 자체가 조금 어렵다. 그럼 verbalizing 연습하기도 그러니까 말하는 연습하기도 좋은 것이 예를 들면 이걸 조금 더 크게 만들어서 친구들하고 요렇게 된 워크시트에다가 이제 초록색 부분을 선생님이 만들어서 이렇게 붙이신다던가 아니면 작성하신 다음에 같이 이야기하는 말하기 연습하기도 되게 좋은 그런 활동이 될 수 있을 것 같아요.
You can also just like print this out and cut it out and let them match as well. So
Right,
connect and match.
Right. 만약에 읽을 수만 있고 좀 쓰기는 어렵다. 그럼 이제 이렇게 한 칸씩을 잘라서 만든 다음에 친구들이 맞는 cause and effect를 이렇게 매칭시키는 활동을 하는 것도 활용할 수 있는 방법일 것 같아요.
Okay. All right. The next one is I'm gonna do this first. Okay. So when you read a non-fiction text, there's always something that happens there, and maybe there's always a fact. So if you read a non-fiction story, you can kind of think about what are the facts are, and as you read that story or that kind of context, you may have a question, you may have an opinion. So opinion is your own thoughts. It could be a fact, but it's your own thoughts. So I made like a little sentence strip, and you can cut it out and let students read together and see if it's a fact or an opinion. So I'm going to read one and see if it's a fact or opinion. Gorillas are mean and scary. Do you think it's a fact or opinion?
It's hard. Fact?
So, but it doesn't really, we have to find out,
Right.
but we can say it's an opinion because we can't really tell exactly, all right? Ivan was finally sent to Zoo Atlanta. It was a fact, okay? Ivan did not like to live in the shopping mall. Tricky, right?
Fact.
So there are difficult, well, these sentences, I wrote them, but if you think there's some sentences that you can come up with that you can think the students can differ and contrast whether it's a fact or opinion, it's pretty fun. All right, so it's okay to steal gorillas from rainforest. Opinion. You know, people can say no, right, yes, or wrong, or something like that. People tried to get Ivan out of the shopping mall. Yeah, it's a fact. Protests, petitions. So basically, it talks about a lot of sentences about the actual story that we read, or based on the story, if you thought of anything that would have students' opinion, or you can ask students what their opinion is. You can make a big T-chart like this, fact and opinion. It's a super fun way to have a deep conversation about the story. Okay?
이제 요거가 아주 간단하게 보이는 T-chart, fact and opinion을 구분을 할 수 있고, 이제 요거는 이제 미리 선생님이 준비해서 만드신 이제 strip인데요. 이제 이거를 가지고 친구들하고 같이 하나하나 아까처럼 gorillas are mean and scary. Is this a fact or opinion? 이걸 가지고 이제 친구들하고 같이 이야기를 활발하게 나눌 수가 있는데 생각 외로 저희가 이제 리딩 글을 티칭을 해보면 고학년 친구들인데도 fact, opinion 구분하기를 어려워하는 친구들이 꽤 많아요. 왜냐면 tricky 하거든요. 예를 들면 it's okay to steal gorillas from rainforest 라고 하면은 이건 좀 쉬운 건가? 예를 들면 people try to work could be let's pick something tricky. Okay, it is not right to keep a gorilla in a shopping mall. 이건 definitely fact라고 할 수도 있어요. 그죠? 그런데 이거가 opinion이냐 fact냐라고 했을 때 사실 이거는 opinion이거든요. 왠 사람의 생각이니까.
No one decided
to do this. 이거가 이제 어떤 사실이냐 아니냐의 근거는 어떤 이제 정말로 이유가 있던지 명확한 그 evidence가 있던지 이런 어떤 기준이 있어야 되는데 이걸 가지고 친구들하고 이야기를 하면서 당연히 고리를 쇼핑몰에 두면 안 되죠? 이렇게 친구들, 왜냐면 그거가 전반적으로 우리가 맞다고 생각되어지는 개념이기 때문에 이게 팩트냐 opinion이를 구별하기를 좀 어려워할 수도 있어요. 그래서 이것을 사실 이 글이 쉬운 글은 아니에요. 이야기를 나누면 친구들하고. 근데 더 쉬운 글부터 시작해서 non-fiction인 경우들이 있잖아요. 어린이 동화책들은. 이제 그런 책들을 보면서 어떤 게 팩트고 어떤 게 opinion인지를 자꾸 이렇게 구별해내는 연습을 하는 게 굉장히 좋은 활동이 될 수 있을 것 같아요.
That's right. So the sentence level, you can kind of use whatever you would like, and then work with the students together.
Right.
All right, our last one. This could be an upper level. What does this look like to you? What shape does this look like?
It's a table.
Yes, a table. So when you think of a main idea and details, the top part of the table is the main idea, and the legs that supports the top part of the table are the details. So it's a good activity. You can probably seen it somewhere else, but they kind of like use a table format, a table image, because it gives you a clue of the details supporting the top part, the main idea. So the top part, you put the main idea. It could be a different sentence, but I chose, Ivan had a remarkable life. Do you remember what remarkable meant? Incredible, something very interesting. Remarkable. Why do you think the author put the word remarkable? So we have to find the details why his life was remarkable. So there are different kinds of details in the story. So one of the legs that I wrote, Ivan was stolen by poachers. That's a very sad fact, but it's an interesting detail because it was his life, right? That was his start of his interesting life. He was stolen by the poachers. Detail 2. Ivan lived in a home as a human child. How many gorillas would live in the human child wearing diapers and eating ice cream and like that, right? So that was one fact, one detail of his life. Another one I wrote is Ivan lived in a mall for 27 years. That's a fact. It's a very interesting, sad fact, but it's one of the details of his life. And the last one I wrote, Ivan was finally sent to Zoo Atlanta. Zoo Atlanta is a place that took care of Ivan the rest of his life, and he died in 2012, based on the story. And I think that is, you know, I'm sure, and I heard from the news that he had a very happy life at Zoo Atlanta. So these are the 4 things that I thought that supports the sentence, Ivan had a remarkable life. So the main idea details gives you a clear view of all the facts and the things that happen to life. So this is another good skill activity to organize their thinking after the story.
Right. 그 organizer 그 그래픽들이 많이 여러 종류가 있고, 그 다음에 이제 주로 이제 메인 아이디어하고 supporting details를 아이들이 글을 읽고 나서 찾아내는 연습을 하는데, 뭐 hamburger, 뭐 sandwich, 뭐 되게 많이 있는데, 우리 선생님 골라오신 그 organizer는 테이블 그림이에요. 근데 이제 선생님 아까 말씀하셨던 것처럼 이거에 대해서 선생님이 괜찮다라고 생각한 이유가 그 the top part, the surface of the table, 거기를 메인 아이디어로 생각을 했을 때 그것을 4개의 그 legs가 이렇게 받쳐주고 있기 때문에 그 주제 생각을 4개에 받쳐주고 있는 생각이 뭘까라고 아이들이 조금 더 연관해서 생각해 볼 수 있는 그런 visualizing 하는 좋은 에이드가 될 수 있어서 이 테이블로 이제 골라오셨고, 그 다음에 이제 메인 아이디어를 Ivan had a remarkable life from, maybe she got it from the title, 그죠? 제목에 있는 거를 이용을 해서 이렇게 만들었는데, 뭐 요거를 선생님들과 친구들이 같이 의논해서 정할 수도 있고, 근데 그 remarkable 이라는 표현을 쓸 수밖에 없었던, 작가가 쓰게 됐던 그런 배경에 대해서 그 supporting details를 같이 생각을 하면서 그저 여기서 보는 거예요. 그래서 Ivan was stolen by the poachers. 이것이 어떻게 보면 tragedy의 시작일 수도 있고, 아니면 좀 더 special 해서 우리 사람들한테까지도 영향을 미치게 되는 어떤 그런 history의 시작이 된 거고, 그 다음에 Ivan lived in a home as a human child. 사람들이랑 같이 살았다가 행복해 보였지만 그 시간이 또 끝나고 어떻게 되냐면 It was 27 years. 27년 동안이나. 쇼핑몰에서 혼자 이렇게 살게 되는, 네, 그렇게 되는 시간도 있었고, 그 다음에 마지막에, 그런데 사람들이 아이반에 대해서 생각하면서, they sent him to the zoo at Atlanta, and he lived there happily. Ever after the rest of his life.
That's right.
네, 그렇게 된, 그 서폴리미티 4개를 이제 같이 골라서 제가 사실 이거는 같이 디스커션 하면서 해도 좋을 것 같아요. 메인 아이디어 고르는 것부터 이 글 전체 스토리가 주제가 뭘까라는 것부터 시작해서 선생님들이 왜냐면 그 중요하게 생각하는 이벤트들이 친구들마다 다를 수도 있는데 그 이벤트들을 쭉 같이 적으면서 가장 중요한 4가지를 골라야 되잖아요. 그죠? 그거를 갖다 같이 디스커션 하는 작업 가운데에서 아이들이 논리적으로 생각하고 왜 이 디테일이 이 디테일보다 더 중요한가 이런 걸 결정하면서 이야기를 나누고 다른 친구들 생각을 듣고 할 수 있기 때문에 이걸 이제 클래스룸 다 같이 하는 액티비티를 해도 좋지 않을까.
Yeah, all the three activities that we mentioned is good to do as a whole group activity. So it's important to see whether all the students have different ideas that you can like post and paste with post-it or however you can to address their thoughts about the story.
네. 그리고 이제 조금 뭐 이제 실무적으로 들어가서 반에서 티칭을 할 때 아이들이 혼자서 생각하고 문장 단위로 작성을 할 수 있는 레벨이다. 그러면 individual work 하는 시간을 좀 주고 그 다음에 이제 peer work 아니면 group 아니면 whole class work로 가서 내가 이렇게 생각한 거를 이렇게 비교할 수 있는 거라는 어떤 그 생각을 같이 해볼 수 있는 레벨이 된다면 인디비주얼 워크를 넣어주면 좋고 아니면 우리 애기들은 생각하는 것부터 같이 좀 많이 연습해야 된다. 그러면 스토리 읽을 때부터 think aloud 많이 하면서 이런 거에 대해서 왜 메인 아이디어를 이걸로 골라야 되는지 그 과정도 배워야 되기 때문에 또 같이 이 3가지 과정 모두 다 하면 좋지 않을까.
That's right.
네.
I'm gonna show you some pictures. This is a picture of the actual protest. The actual protest at the shopping mall. And the shopping mall's name is B&I Shopping Center. So the owner, the name,
Burma.
B for Burma and I for Ivan. Okay? So people signed petitions and protest to send him to a different place. And this is the worksheets that we can do. And these are some pictures of Ivan. And I've heard that Ivan was very interesting because I don't know why, maybe because he was living in a human house. He likes to draw and paint and don't like wet areas. He likes to cover his head with like different things to be dry. And there's a lot of drawings that he used to do, and he liked people. He was very friendly. So maybe because he lived with humans, I think he has a different kind of personality and understanding. Yes. But they say he was very, very gentle and kind to humans. So I think this is interesting. And there are some actual videos, links that I could share, but I'm just going to show you one part that shows Ivan when he was young. Okay, so maybe you can look at that just for a couple of seconds. This is Tacoma, Washington, the shopping mall, the actual shopping mall, B&I.
There's not yet been a happy ending.
And you can see how
At the B&I shopping center.
He lived with the people that own the pet shop.
this is the actual cage at the shopping mall.
Oh.
Isn't it so sad?
And that's just
This is Ivan. They tried to get a female, but it wasn't possible. So this is
It's
how
not easy, and also it's not right? They need to capture another baby.
So that's impossible. So this is how important to think about as well. Like with your students, think about, is this right or wrong? Or think about why the people was signing petitions and protesting. So those are things that maybe the upper grade level students could really discuss and kind of not debate, but discuss the right and wrong and how people should treat wild animals. And there are a lot of issues still in the world out there these days.
Right.
So I think it's a fun story that you can enjoy. Okay?